Welcome to Every Horror Movie on Netflix, the show where we watch and review and discuss every horror movie on Netflix. Back again, I'm Chris.
And Patrick.
And Steven.
The three together again.
The three
it's been
amigos.
so long. Trace
You've been
amigos.
waiting for this. You've been waiting for us.
You've heard about us during the impeachment inquiry. We're back, baby. We're back.
We are united. We're like the Infinity Stones.
You went a whole 2 weeks without hearing from Steven. Then you went a whole however many weeks without hearing from me. You know, we want to check in. How are you? Like, send us a little update. We just want to make sure you're doing okay. In the meantime, the gang's back together.
We're back together. I'm sorry if we've inflicted any separation anxiety upon any of our listeners.
But we're back on our bullshit.
Go check out our solo records, though.
Yeah.
The time was well spent.
Oh, we've been busy. Yeah. We're fully back on our bullshit.
If you want to know what I've been doing...
Yeah, what have you? No, we don't want to know you.
I've been here the whole time.
All right, never mind. That joke's not going to land.
What have you been up to, Patrick?
I have been busy preparing a defense of Guillermo del Toro's great film, capital F, Crimson Peak, which was extremely unfairly maligned on the episode, which I was not present for.
Well, you should have been on the episode. I think we're done talking.
Gotta be present to win that argument.
I just want to...
I like Crimson Peak. I don't have a problem with Crimson Peak. Was I talking shit on Crimson Peak?
No, you were not. Steven and I think Michael were. But God damn it, what an entertaining movie. It looks fucking great. It's got a sense of humor. It's just like this old-fashioned, like, weird-ass soap opera.
It's a gothic romance,
romance, exactly. I've never seen a movie quite like Crimson Peak. It might be my favorite Del Toro movie, but I might take that back another time. Anyways, otherwise, you guys did an amazing job last week.
Thank you. Did you know Guillermo del Toro is an actor?
Yes, he's a mocapper.
He's a mocap actor.
I feel like he's appeared in things other than Death Stranding, though, which you're referring to, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I think he only did like voice and maybe face, and then they had another actor do the actual mocap. For Death Stranding. But yeah, the video game...
They didn't have the budget to mocap his torso.
The video game Death Stranding, which I've spent 65 hours of my life playing since we last spoke.
You've now switched careers to UPS delivery man.
I can't wait to the auteur effort from the visionary genius Hideo Kojima, featuring a gratuitous performance from Guillermo del Toro as Dead Man.
Gratuitous in what way?
Gratuitous as in he's only in the game because Hideo Kojima, the game director, loves him personally and is friends with him. And he just has... The whole game is overwrought. And so he has so many scenes, so much expository dialogue, a shower scene with Norman Reedus.
Really?
It's a beautiful thing.
Really?
And where does Conan O'Brien fit into this?
Oh, he has a cameo too. He's just a prepper living in a shelter in the wasteland that you deliver some stuff to.
Wow. Chris, I can't believe that in this holiday season, we've got this short holiday season right now, UPS is concerned about being able to deliver packages on time, and instead of helping the war effort, you're deep in virtual reality delivering fake packages.
Well, I'm training. I'm ready. And you know what? This really is a game. We're not going to have a 45-minute podcast about the video game today, even though I could easily do it. The thing about the game is it's really like a working class love letter. The guy who builds the infrastructure and delivers the packages is the guy who literally saves the world in this game. He doesn't... I mean, there is a little bit of shooter gameplay, but he barely uses a gun. He just takes stuff from point A to point B and gives you Wi-Fi, and he saves America.
Can't wait for...
incredibly tedious.
It does sound really tedious.
It is incredibly tedious.
I can't wait for Kojima to do a commercial for Bernie.
Yeah, that might be foreign interference in the election.
Ooh, could be.
Yeah. Anyway, so enough
about...
about...
Back to Amon, where we talk about all the hot topics.
Yeah, enough about mail. Let's talk about nails.
Oh.
Beautiful segue. Where do we begin with Nails?
Yeah, so
do we begin with the beginning?
How did you guys pick Nails? So Chris entered like 9 billion movies into the Wheel of Death. And
every movie
manually, right?
By one.
Every movie that was on Netflix,
he etched them onto a stylus
that we didn't watch, we loaded into a randomizer, and it picked Nails. And I gotta say, more like the Wheel of Pain. I would have preferred Death, but I mean, not to tip my hand to my review.
The Wheel has
Nails?
such. I can never say that right. The Wheel has such sights to show us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I lost a fucking horror movie trivia contest on that. Well, no, I tied a horror movie trivia contest on that question. I would have just won outright and not had to take a tiebreaker question if I had remembered what fucking movie that line was
When did you go to a horror movie trivia contest, and why wasn't I invited?
It was on Halloween night, actually, and you weren't invited because... Why didn't I invite
Man, I have a feeling this is going to hurt whatever it is.
Drama.
We're gonna have to do a couple more shows without you, I think.
We're going to cut to a commercial break. We'll be back after these messages.
So Nails, it's an Irish movie. Steven says it's from 2017. I believe you.
The internet says it's from 2017.
Okay. It's an Irish film, which really got my hopes up because, of course, there's no better Irish horror film than A Dark Song, which is one of our favorites. And, you know, Ireland has that weird thing where they publicly finance art, and it's a beautiful thing.
I have to say I was shocked when I found out it was bankrolled by the Irish Film Council or whatever when I saw it in the credits, because I learned like nothing about this movie in advance. I went in very cold, and I was not shocked. I was surprised and delighted to see that it was not American, just because I like the variety.
Yeah, I like the variety too. Very simple story. Broad strokes are there's a woman named Dana who is hit by a car while jogging in the first minute of the movie, and she is semi-paralyzed, I guess.
Paraplegic, that's what they call that.
Yeah, but
she's sent to a hospital or like a rehab facility specifically for para and quadriplegics.
Yeah. So I guess her legs don't work, but they don't really.
That's paraplegic.
Okay. She's in her hospital bed, and, you know, she begins to be haunted by some specter that has fingernails.
Yes.
And that's basically your movie.
It's basically Gerald's game for much of the film, except like there are other figures on the periphery who are really not all that important. They don't accomplish a whole lot.
There's a lot of subplots that are maybe a third of the way delivered.
I agree. We'll get into that when we talk about our reviews. I have a lot to say about how there seem to be like there's hints at themes in this movie that are never fully developed, and they don't really connect with the action at all. But how about that opening scene, right?
Yeah, so I mean that's what I was going to say. Let's start at the beginning, because I mean this movie cuts to the fucking chase. Like, I mean, we see Dana get up, get out of bed. She does some yoga, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of shots for doing yoga. Like, why do I need to see this much for doing yoga?
No, before that, isn't there a prologue where we see a child having their nails clipped?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Opening credit shot.
Yes.
A creepy nurse dragging his feet and his hand cart down the hallway of a eerily lit hospital in Ireland.
Clipping off a dead child's...
No, she's alive.
She was alive?
I think so.
I think she's alive, yeah.
I think she's... Okay. So he clips a young girl's... young girl in a hospital, but he clips her fingernails, puts them into an envelope, writes her name on it. Very creepy stuff. Immediately, I'm glad we had an answer to why this movie was called Nails, because I was expecting, like, crucifixion or something.
Oh, nails on a chalkboard, which actually we get a little bit of that too.
I was expecting like big ass like 9-inch steel nails.
9-inch nails, baby.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect any of that, but I also didn't expect fingernails to play so prominently into this film.
I don't see someone get nailed. I wanted there to be a guy with a nail gun creeping around, pinning people to the wall. That's his signature.
Into it. Here for it.
Yeah. Not that movie, though.
So, yeah, anyways, there's this shit with fingernails, and then we get to our heroine. She does yoga for an oddly long time. She's jogging. There's this, like, pop song that plays behind her in a very awkward fashion.
Oh, my God. Like, we watched Allison with the Y said it was like a Snow Patrol music video, which is exactly right. There was a moment where the music kicks into...
Never seen one, but I believe it.
Yeah, and there's a moment where, like, the music kicks into high gear, and it's like... You're expecting some like triumphant moment, but no, it's still this woman that we don't even know really at all running.
It's an unmotivated motivated drop that happens like mid-shot while she's just running from one side of the screen to the other, but it's fine, whatever.
And you know what? It totally worked. I mean, it was silly, it was ridiculous, it was cheesy, but it totally worked because I forgot I was watching a horror movie, and then we're blindsided because she gets hit by a fucking
Just
car.
out of nowhere, she crossed the street, and then blam, she gets hit by a fucking car.
I
in
laughed.
The first, like, 2 minutes of the movie or something. So that, I appreciated that.
Plastered.
It
But,
didn't
but,
fuck
but
around.
how many times have we seen
shocked.
that? We've seen that so many times.
We've seen that in particular. What are you talking
We've
about?
seen people get the jump scare where someone gets hit by a car.
Or their car gets hit by another car.
But not
It's
that
like,
soon in the movie.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of Anguish, where like the girl gets out of the car and gets plastered by a truck in the first 30 seconds of the movie.
I don't remember that.
Well,
I don't know. It was effective to me because I think it was especially effective because I found the yoga and the running stuff so silly, especially with the music and how much just, again, there was a lot of shots for doing yoga.
You seem to be really fixated on the yoga.
I feel like there was literally like 2 shots.
It wasn't
We
a
can
lot.
we can check the tape.
You know what,
There's
though?
a lot of
There
her
were at
doing
least-
yoga.
there were
You
at
don't
least
need to see
5
that much
poses.
of her
Morning
doing
routine.
Okay,
yoga.
I remember she did the Warrior 2 pose. I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
She
someone!
did down-
it sounds like someone was paying a lot of
She
attention.
did
to
it's all
yoga.
coming back to
I
me.
don't remember poses.
I saw a downward dog that I was like really pleased was not shot from a gratuitous
I
and
noticed
sexual
that as
angle. She did
She does a little.
the Sphinx
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sphinx pose.
I mean, she was doing a flow. She was doing
She
some
definitely
vinyasa.
did. She touched her toes.
She
yeah.
does the shy tuna.
Well, this is all.
She does the camel walk. She does the hypocrite.
Just keep it coming.
the hypocrite.
Yeah. I think it's all to show, or to show like how limber she is and how active she is, and like how. I mean,
Well, yes.
it's bullshit because we don't really ever learn all that much about this person. Like, they're not giving much of a reason to care about her, but it's to show that before she gets hit by the car and becomes paraplegic, she had an active life.
Yes.
She had very strong control over her body, discipline. If you will.
Let me come back to this paraplegic thing, because you're right. She's in a hospital for paraplegic. She's paraplegic, but they really don't give you a lot of information about her condition in this movie.
No.
And it seems like she's expected to make a recovery and return home. There's not really any indication that she's permanently disabled.
No, and I don't know how that works. I don't know enough that like you can recover from that kind of spinal cord injury.
No, I think that's inaccurate. I don't think she's expected to recover from that. She's got the fucking like pins in her arm. I don't know what you describe that as, but there's a like metal cage that's like holding her arm in place because her arm got fucked up, and she also had a head trauma that she was briefly dead from. So she's like recovering from all that shit.
Right.
Then she goes home. She's not going to be able to walk when she gets home.
But if it's a neurological, I don't remember if they established whether her leg is like a spinal cord injury and she's never going to walk again, or if it's a neurological thing from smashing her head on the car and she might get better. But I don't think
that's never. I mean, you're right. That's never established. But I
established.
never anticipated that she was going to be recovering from the paraplegia.
Yeah, I thought everything seemed temporary, because they do say things like, well, you're not ready to go home yet, or something like that. I don't know. They don't establish it one way or another. And
because there's a couple of fucking holes in her head.
And this is a movie that just doesn't really seem to care or about her condition, or really have a lot of interest in being technical about what's wrong with her. Basically, she's in a hospital bed and she's confined to the bed, and that's the premise. And so whatever.
I will say I found it somewhat refreshing that we don't have somebody like walking in with a clipboard twice an act, explaining what's going on and how she's improved or any of that.
Yeah.
That would have been tedious. But I guess I would have liked to know more about like, what is specifically wrong with her, and like what are the odds of her surviving it?
Yeah,
or recovering it?
I don't know. I didn't need the doctor's report. It was all. I knew everything I needed to know, which was that she was in bed, she couldn't move, she has a fucking tracheotomy, which is just that just pushes my buttons right there. Like the tube down the throat, she can't speak, she needs a computer, she like types on the computer that speaks for her. It was all very like, ooh.
But also, I think it was
deeply
all
with her condition.
bullshit, because I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I don't think you can get ventilated like that. And if you do get ventilated like that, I don't think that you have the experience that she had in this movie, where it's like she can still pretty much breathe and talk on her own, but she's also on a machine.
So who were we talking to last night? Who knew? Was it Allison who knew something about tracheotomy?
Yeah.
Who said that. Yeah, who Allison knew somebody who had a tracheotomy. She said it was basically accurate.
Really, you ventilate a tracheotomy? I did not.
But
know
I mean,
that.
to me, I don't care.
I don't care either.
I don't need this to be 100% medically
No.
accurate like the human centipede.
No. Okay.
Whoa.
I don't need
That's
to.
the Human Centipede's tagline, guys. Come on.
I don't care about the accuracy of the details. I think what I'm getting at is I need the rules of her condition and her situation to be a little bit more clearly cut, especially when you get into stuff where there's like ghosts switching off her ventilator and stuff. I don't know. It's like Gerald's game. You know what her problem is. She's fucking handcuffed to the bed. It's a very clear thing that obstacle she has to overcome. Here it's like, well, does she have a head trauma? Is she hallucinating? Do her legs work? Can she breathe? Who cares? She's stuck in the bed.
Can we talk about Gerald's game for a brief second?
Her legs definitely didn't work. Well, how is that even a question? I mean, I guess I understand why it's a question whether she could breathe or not, but there was never a question to me as to what her condition was or what the limitations were.
You see her in the bed, like, doing, like, pull-ups on her fucking thing, and, like, I was expecting to see, like, I thought there was going to be a sequence where she, like, makes up her mind to get out of this hospital. I was expecting, like, a Kill Bill thing where she's, like, staring at her feet and she makes it move, and then, like, you know, she can start to have some more control. I don't know. It's just, I see what you're saying. I don't need the medical guy to come in and give the whole diagnosis, but it just, when you have her in peril, I want to know kind of what's in the way of her going home, what's in the way of her fighting this monster, etc.
Okay.
Anyway, you want to talk about Gerald's game?
Oh,
we did do that once.
This is not super relevant, but I want to say it before I forget. I remembering that I was listening to an interview with Stephen King a couple days ago, and apparently, to figure out like what exactly the predicament, like what the chance, the protagonist in Gerald's game, like what were her odds, like how was she going to get out of the cuffs and get out of the bed? And he couldn't figure it out in his mind, and he thought of all the ways it could go wrong. So apparently he had a son, who we know is Joe Hill. He called him upstairs, and he tied his son to the bed.
I thought you were going to say his son tied him to the bed.
He tied Joe Hill to the bed. He was like 18 or 19 or something, and just like watched him squirm and try and get out of it. And he couldn't. There was no way. He tried like every possible maneuver. And apparently, Stephen King's wife like came up to the room in the middle of this with no context for what was happening, not knowing what he was writing about. And when she asked what was going on, Joe Hill just said, "It's some dad shit."
There's a biopic I want to see. I want to see the Stephen King and Joe Hill story. Or a documentary. I want to know more about their relationship.
Paul Dano as Stephen King.
Sure, why not? I thought you were going to say as Joe Hill, but sure, why not?
Sure.
All right, back to the movie. I'm with Chris. It just didn't really feel like there were stakes because it didn't feel like this scenario was like very well thought out. It didn't feel. I didn't want it to be super technical, but I wanted some thought put into that for it to like ground me in reality. Otherwise, I'm left with a woman that I barely know who's being treated terribly by pretty much everybody around her. She's not being listened to. It's a really frustrating experience, and not in like an artistic way. Like I kept expecting this movie to like have something to say about like women not being listened to or whatever, but I don't think it does.
There's a lot of anxieties about being stuck in a hospital bed or having anything wrong with your body, and this movie doesn't seem to want to play on any of them.
I disagree strongly with all of that. I reacted viscerally to all the human stuff in this movie. The supernatural stuff, which we'll get to, not so much. Didn't do much for me, but I was very invested in to me, that's one of the most horrifying situations, just being confined to a hospital bed and being unable to move my legs, unable to talk. All of that stuff just got to me and fucked with me and made me feel so uncomfortable. And I also empathized with that character a lot because, yeah, we don't learn a lot about her, but I didn't need to know that much about her. I learned a lot about her while she was in the hospital bed, and I really enjoyed the actress's performance as well. I thought it felt very natural and very, I just connected with that performance and that character a lot.
Yeah, she was good.
She was in The Descent, actually. It was like,
really?
I was picking my brain while we were watching, trying to think of where I'd seen her before. She's good, but there is something that, like, I don't know, like, I could see it. I just don't think this movie handled it very well, because I do like the idea of a protagonist that can't really talk, that relies on a machine, that can't move, that's in this horrifying situation. I agree, all of that stuff could have been a really good body horror, because that's a scary situation to be in, to have, a concussion, to have a tube in your throat, to have your face, peeling off, and not be able to move your legs. it didn't do anything for me the way it was presented in the movie, though.
To me, to me, that's psychological horror, though. Really, it's not even body horror.
I mean, yeah, that it could. I guess I was saying like it could have had an element of body horror with all those elements, and it didn't, and didn't have to. But I think I might have connected with it a little bit more if it had.
So here's my problem. What's the conflict in this movie? The conflict in this movie has nothing to do with her physical condition, really.
It's true.
The conflict is she's being haunted by a creeper with nails. And her physical condition is just kind of the excuse to keep her in the bed and keep her from doing anything about it.
Well, there's not just that. There's another level of conflict, which is that she's staying in like a very corrupt facility that doesn't have any interest in taking care of her.
It doesn't seem like it's a hospital, and so I don't know.
It seems I think it's like a privately owned rehab facility.
It's not a great advertisement for like socialized medicine, this movie.
It's a hospital.
Nor is it an indictment of socialized medicine. Like most things with this movie, I found it just kind of went straight down the middle.
No, it's not
like that would have been interesting if that was somehow tied into
comment about medicine,
the thematic fabric of this movie, but it wasn't. Instead, we just have. I mean, in horror movies, like rarely are doctors a good thing. Rarely, are they a good thing.
But you guys do this all the time. You always try and think of like themes that could have been in the movie, and obviously, I love a thematically rich movie, but I don't see a point in the exercise of it could have explored this theme.
I why we do that though.
I'm just joking about that, but,
okay.
but
I'm not quite joking. I start to talk about that stuff when the movie doesn't do anything for me, and I'm like, well, how could it have been better? I just didn't connect with this thing very much at all. So my mind started traveling to different places, thinking like, I really wish like this would happen next. No, okay, that didn't happen.
Let me give you a thought that I had. This is another one of those Chris rewrites the movie things. And maybe you'll think it's a horrible idea.
Wait, is this an episode of Chris rewrites the movie?
We need a theme song. Yeah, get on that, Steven.
I was thinking about what would make me more interested in this movie. And I mean, despite the good performance, I just thought it was very uninteresting to have a protagonist that we didn't know anything about, who didn't really have any agency over her circumstances, couldn't really do anything except scream when the creeper comes out of the closet. And so I thought, what if you changed it so that her daughter is the one who's fucked up in the bed, and she's still chained to the bed because her child is there, and there's a creeper, but she actually has the power to, do something. I don't know.
Chris, you've done some good rewrites. You've done a lot of good rewrites. A lot where I'm like, holy shit, that's a great idea. This is not one of them.
Because that would basically just be a possession movie. Like, usually that's like the parents trying to help the young girl who's trapped in a situation. There are, outside forces. In this case, it would be the medical system and not, Satan who are trying to intervene and take over the girl. I don't feel like that would be any more interesting.
I mean, the horror of the situation is in her immobility, in the fact that she can't do anything and that no one else sees it, so she's being gaslit. Like, if you have a mom there who is mobile and can see it and believes the daughter, I mean, talk about losing your conflict.
Well, the daughter would not be the protagonist. The daughter would have no agency of her own. She might be in a coma. Who knows? But there's something menacing the daughter. But you at least have a protagonist who can make decisions and talk to people and fight a little bit throughout the course of the movie with the same exact problem, which is this thing's coming out of the closet with its nails and it's spooky.
But why even set it in a hospital at that point? Why have the
Why even set
character?
nails in the hospital? You could set this
because
movie
the central
anywhere.
horror is that she's immobilized.
You could be immobilized anywhere. Her car could have gone off the road. You could be in a restaurant waiting for your check to come, and there's a guy coming out of the bathroom with nails.
Okay, so sure. And they decided to pick a hospital. I mean,
Right.
like, what?
Right. So I'm just saying, because the hospital element and the woman's condition seems so arbitrary, I'm just trying to think of a way where you can make the story more interesting and the protagonist more interesting and give me more stuff to hang on to than wondering, is the orderly going to believe her this time when she says, I saw something coming out of my closet? Because we know he's not gonna.
How
many times can you run that scene?
I don't get how your version makes that more compelling, but I feel like we're going too far down.
We're getting deep in the weeds. Okay, so here's what I mean. It didn't do anything for me, but it works. I understand why it's set in a hospital. I mean, one, like, most people are afraid of hospitals, or at least have icky feelings about them. Yeah. And in like sort of the what sort of keeps the movie moving along and keeps us supposedly invested in it, though I wasn't, is that like we don't know much about her. She suffered this trauma, but also I believe a concussion, right? So like she's kind of, and she can't really speak. So
or some sort of
so
head
she
trauma.
might be kind of an, you know, not unreliable narrator, but you know what I mean, something akin to that. So like the first few times she sees the ghost, like we don't know whether or not she's crazy, but then like real shit starts to happen, like her respirator gets shut down, things start getting moved around inside of her room, and so, like that's on paper interesting.
So and see, that's an interesting point, because I never, and this came up last night too when we were talking with Allison about it. I never doubted her. I never saw her as an unreliable narrator. I completely accepted her as my protagonist, and that what she was saying was real. I never had a sense of conflict, and I don't have a point there other than it's just interesting, the different perceptions there.
I didn't either, but it seemed like that's the way that they were trying to. That it was written, and it was just not executed very well.
I never doubted her sanity, I guess.
Oh, you know what? I don't want to get theoretical. I'm going to sound like a complete film snob right now. But is she a protagonist? She has the most screen time. Does she do anything? Does she make any choices? Does she change it all over the course of the movie? Fuck no. The only protagonist in this movie is the orderly who like starts off saying, I don't know anything about nails, and then he learns about nails.
That's not true at all. She makes choices.
Take that.
Just the fact that she's immobilized. This is a pretty ableist argument you're making here, Chris.
She makes some pretty wild choices, actually.
I mean, she researches. She does the research to try and find out. I mean, she does find out who Nails is, which I don't know. Can you explain that enough? Yeah. We haven't. We haven't talked about the
this
orderly.
This is insane.
Can we talk about the orderly?
Let's talk about. Let's establish who Nails and the orderly are.
I just have one question. Is the orderly a piece of shit or not?
Oh no, he's the hero of the movie. I just said he was the hero of the movie.
No, fuck him.
Yeah, he's the only thing weird about him is that he apparently works 120 hours a week at this hospital.
Oh well, and also the fact that he's like fucking like rubbing her leg with the body wash and is like, it's time for Mr. Body Wash or whatever the fuck.
That's exactly how it happens in a hospital.
No, he did it in a very weird way.
He didn't actually. We both got free because Patrick and I watched this together last night. Like, I didn't know what because I mean, I'm making unfair judgment, but because we've all seen movies where there's like someone in a hospital bed that's being mistreated by the staff, and it happens a lot in real life. I just assumed that he was going to do something creepy to her, but instead he just puts the lotion on the skin.
But he puts it awkwardly high up on the thigh. It was just the way it was done was very odd. And then later when he's rolling her over on her side, I didn't like that either.
No, listen.
He has
this
to
is
because
how it
she
works.
has bed
It's a hospital.
sores.
She's got bed sores. Listen,
he never gropes her. He never says anything like sexually provocative.
Exactly. It's all
It's
very low key. It's very.
This doesn't ever show him doing anything.
Insidious.
And she never complains about it.
Don't like him.
This is ridiculous.
That doesn't mean she. I'm sorry, victims of trauma. I know it's hard to speak up. Didn't mean to imply anything there.
Listen, my mom's been in the hospital. I've been spending a lot of time in hospitals. There's no modesty in a hospital. Your male nurse comes in. He needs to do whatever he needs to rub the lotion on your skin. He's going to do it. That stuff happens. It was totally fine. That guy was a straight
like
shooter.
Him, got bad vibes, and I think I was supposed to get bad vibes.
No, I don't think you were. Cause the guy's a stand-up guy. He's the only one there who believes her.
And he starts off being like really apathetic. He hates his job. He hates the he feels like the infrastructure of the hospital is just like crumbling. And then he helps her.
And right? He's not the only one who believes her. He sort of starts to believe her when it's already too late.
Whatever. Anyway.
Didn't like him.
All right. Well,
that sounds like a you problem.
Didn't like him.
Anyway, we find out that Nails is basically the ghost. I'm not sure if we've established that. Nails, the guy we see clipping nails at the beginning of the movie, he apparently killed little girls under his care.
Well, that's how they were mercy killings.
That's how it's described in the paper as mercy killings. But when the more we learn about it, the more it sounds like he just killed some girls.
He just killed them, and he thought he was doing
it wasn't
the right
like he was
thing.
doing some Kevorkian shit.
Because he was like he was an abused child. He had his own psychological problems or something, which you could go down that path about that being a problematic backstory. And then
he saw some bad nails when he was a kid.
Well, it's very, and I had this, I think I mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street when we were watching this last night, and I was reading reviews today, and like almost every review is like, like this whole, he's basically just like a shitty Freddy Krueger knockoff. Like his origin story is like somewhat similar. The whole thing with the nails and the way he drags the nails on the hallway as he's coming after his victims.
Yeah, that shot of him dragging the nails on the wall was very Freddy,
I guess.
But that's our antagonist. That's our spook.
Yeah.
And so he hanged himself in the closet at the foot of our hero's bed.
Gnarly ass closet.
Can we talk about that closet?
Our quote-unquote
It
hero.
looked like the work shed from Evil Dead. Or Evil Dead 2. It was horrifying.
There was all kinds of weird graffiti inside it, and this is the thing that pissed me off about this movie again and again and again. Nobody is acting rationally in this movie. Like there's this creepy ass closet with like occult shit written all over the wallpaper, and everyone just pretends it's not there.
Oh, and the wallpaper looks like flesh and veins. It looks like the fucking torture room from Videodrome.
Wow, I wish it had looked that good.
Or maybe that's how there's some texture in Videodrome I'm thinking of that looks like a mixture of like tree bark and flesh.
Huh.
I don't remember where that comes in that movie. Anyway, it's fucking gross and weird looking, and no one seems to think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one seems to be using a brain in this entire movie. Even like she's like, oh god, there's this thing coming out of the closet and it's haunting me, and they're like, all right, we're gonna install some cameras. So they install a bunch of cameras that only like apparently connect to her own laptop, and she has to monitor them herself in real time.
Well, it's because they're patronizing her. Like no one believes her. I don't understand.
And her husband is
what
like
sensible decisions you're expecting people to make that they didn't make. No one believes her.
I guess I just don't
She's being
understand why
gaslit the
nobody
whole movie.
cares. I mean, like, she's surrounded by terrible people. Yeah, her husband, we should mention, is banging a new athletic chick.
What a subplot. Chris, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What percentage better does this movie get if the husband is played not by the poor man's Liam Neeson, but by Liam Neeson?
He'd be the hero of the movie. I'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, leave her in that hospital bed.
I mean, he looks a little bit like Neeson to begin with, and I was just like, oh man, this would be so much
Irish.
better if Neeson was here, just like delivering these cold-blooded lines.
The weird thing that stuck out to me is, I mean, the movie did a good job of suggesting and illustrating the possibility that this husband was fooling around with this kid on his team without really being overt about it until down the road.
His team being he's a track coach and
Or something.
she's on it. Yeah,
What does
something
he
like
say
that.
about her? Because like she's like supposedly like, helping him.
She's a winner. She doesn't.
She
quit.
never says
doesn't say no.
Doesn't say
something
no.
like that.
She never quits. She doesn't say no.
and
I was
she's-
like,
and
oh,
She's
God.
first shown on his cell phone. He shows her he shows his wife, he shows Dana a cell phone video of this girl, Ashley, I think her name is, running on a treadmill. And it's just, she's
in like
pumping
slow
her
motion.
arms. Yeah, almost slow
It's like
motion,
a
just
slow
like
mo-
grinning. It's such a, I don't know. I mean, it's just very on the nose.
Look
And
at my
they
side piece,
established that he left his wife for Dana.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Dana's husband left his previous wife for Dana.
Oh, I guess I missed that detail.
Yeah. So that's another thing that's like in the back of her head, and in the back of
Ooh.
our
He's a
head. So.
serial
that's real.
philanderer.
That was a good subplot. That was the most interesting part
real.
of the movie for me.
I relate to that too hard.
Ooh, yeah, Patrick's taking a drink.
I mean, you get weird scenes where like Dana is FaceTiming with her teenage daughter, and then at an odd hour, and like this teammate happens to be in the house. Why they're FaceTiming when Dana can't talk is kind of an unusual thing. Like, why don't they just instant message instead of her
We want
typing?
to see each other's faces. What are you
Yeah,
talking
I
about?
would not want to see that,
but-
the mom's face,
yeah, see
especially
the-
on like
But
a
she wants to see her
poor
daughter's
See
res-
the
face.
face, fine. See the face, fine. But when you're talking, why don't you just type in the instant message instead of typing into your speak and spell and speak, and having the computer talk into the FaceTime? Why don't you just type into the FaceTime so she can read it? It's been done.
Is there FaceTime IM?
I don't know. Back in the day, there used to be video
There's not
chat
for
where you
face.
could.
You're getting.
I don't know.
You're nitpicking too much. What the fuck?
Again, I don't want to be cinema sins over here, but
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're like ding.
but it was. I don't know. I hate
All
it.
right, Neil,
You
cut it out.
You get the
Chris, can you insert a Cinema Sins ding every time you point out a flaw in this movie from now on?
No, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to align myself with that. But, like, she's got this text-to-speech, and, like, there's the one part where she's like, is anyone there? Is anyone there? And the voice is like, is anyone there? Is anyone there? Like, it's like two different intonations of the same phrase. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. Little things like that just pulled me out of the experience. I don't know. You got the scene where the teenage daughter goes on a little like random sojourn through the hospital ward and like just knocks over random shit and like sees a screaming lady and like comes back.
That was fine.
And runs into the director, and the director's like, I don't know. It was, what a mess. I'm done.
Yeah, because the director's just hanging out in the abandoned wing that no one goes to anymore. Like,
is there more to discuss or before we go to the spoiler room on this?
I don't think so. Let's just review this shit. We'll go down to the spoiler room. We'll clip our nails a little bit.
Yeah, mine are getting
just
a little
don't leave
long.
them on the floor, all right? That's gross.
That's what the spoiler room's for. There's bones down there.
Hey, shh!
Oh,
shut the fuck up about the bones in the spoiler room.
Oh, should I clean up the body?
Don't.
Oh,
this is going out. This is going out.
Oh,
Jesus, I haven't been down there in a while. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
This guy.
Anyway. All right, who wants to go first? I feel like the audience can probably tell what Chris.
I feel like Patrick's the wild card. Maybe we'll save him for last.
I savor being the wild card. I feel like I'm on the wild card on a fairly regular basis, and you know what? I love it.
Steven.
Screw it. Screw this movie. I mean, I'm not going to say it was a slog. I enjoyed myself. Had I watched it alone, I would have been miserable.
I watched it alone, and I was like, how can I get out of watching this movie? I was like, I wanted to just turn it off. That's my review. Wow. Sorry.
So I read the Wikipedia plot synopsis. Those are not often reliable. This one nails it. It was totally unintentional. I'm very sleepy on this ep, if anybody can't tell. Hopefully the caffeine starts kicking in soon. But it's pretty accurate. You could have just read that and saved yourself the trauma. This movie, there's nothing original or unique about it. It doesn't have any style. I think our protagonist's performance is really good. She's very striking, and she does the job well with what she's given to do. Other than that, this movie just didn't really have any redeeming value for me whatsoever, especially with that ending, which we'll get into in the spoiler room. That might have taken this from like a very low cue it to a hard screw it for me. Chris?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I don't want to be too scathing, but this might be my least favorite movie that we've watched for this show.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we've watched some garbage.
There was just nothing for me to latch onto in this
You hated...
movie.
Okay,
wow.
We got to do this again. You hated this more than Amnesiac?
Oh, dude.
More than Dead Awake?
Be Afraid.
Be Afraid is
Anguish, which I liked.
Be
I know
Afraid
you didn't.
and Anguish are Citizen Kane compared to this movie.
Wow. You didn't latch. So I mean, you did. You found
the only.
I'm semi-speechless. So you didn't relate to this protagonist at all. Like just at. So I mean, you can nitpick all these other things, but you didn't find anything interesting or something to connect to with this protagonist.
The performance was good, but I knew nothing about her character. I could not get invested in her circumstances because it was clear that her whole lot in life was to be in this bed and never make any intelligent attempt to change her circumstances. And I just couldn't.
Can I ask a really hard question?
No. Go watch Misery and then come back and watch this movie.
I thought about Misery a lot during
and tell me about what you can do with someone who's stuck in a fucking bed. And
oh man, the mind just reels.
Like it's not even in the same league. All she does is sit in the bed, and anytime you think, and I can't discern like. She tries something and it doesn't work from she tries something and like the screenplay just half-asses it, like the camera stuff. Like,
what would you have done in that situation that she didn't do? I mean, all I was thinking was like, well, yeah, I talked to people. Probably no one would believe me. I try. I don't know. I didn't. It felt very real to me.
I don't know. It's not my job to, like, I don't know. What I'm saying, you have a character, she's in a bed, she can't do shit, the thing comes out of the door every night.
Oh yeah, and we get like a lot of just like cheap ass hokey scares. Like the first time we see the Moonlight Man, as I kept calling him when we were watching this, he does that thing where like he cocks his head. He's standing in the corner and he cocks his head to the side and then back to the other side, and like that's supposed to be scary. That's supposed to make me feel terror for her.
Jump scares worked on me. Some of the most shocking jump scares that I've seen in a Netflix.
Oh my god, when the daughter drops all the medical supplies in that room, that gave me an anxiety attack.
I understand. All the subplots were half baked. The A plot was just like watching water drip from a leaky faucet.
It's like watching an IV drip.
I couldn't find anything to get attached to in this movie.
Let me ask you a quick question.
I really didn't like it. God bless everyone who made it, but I hated it.
God bless them. I wouldn't go that far. Who'd you find more relatable? The protagonist in this film or the baby in Cargo?
The protagonist in this film.
Okay.
But like I'm saying, make the protagonist a baby. I don't know, whatever. I already said my piece about that. Patrick.
Make the protagonist Baby Yoda.
Patrick, make...
Yes!
I would love to. I mean, I want to see Baby Yoda.
I don't want to see Baby Yoda with, like, facial wounds and paralyzed
that's
legs.
True. That would be sad. Oh. Okay, yeah. I'll give this a Q-it. Like I said, really enjoyed sort of the human drama of it and just the practical stuff, the practical limitations of being stuck in a bed and having this tracheotomy and all this shit. That was all like super real, very visceral to me. The supernatural stuff was pretty blah. I didn't care to see the Moonlight Man like leering his way into a close-up for the 9,000th time as he like opens his mouth. And by the Moonlight Man, I mean Nails.
He was
for the listening
scary
audience
looking.
who has not figured out that we're calling Nails the Moonlight Man. The ending in particular, which we're going to get to, this might be a little closer to View It territory for me, if not for that what the fuck ending. That ending was holy shit, that was disappointing. We'll get into it more. I will say, however, though, that the ending and things that we're going to talk about in the spoiler room did yield one of the only moment. I can't even remember the last time that I like actually closed my eyes because I didn't want to watch something. It's been years, and there's a moment during the ending of this film where I went, ugh, I couldn't watch what was on screen. It was that like repulsive and just horrifying to me. So
wow,
we'll get to that.
High praise.
I don't remember what that could have even been. I'm curious to hear that.
All right, let's lumber down these stairs.
I got the nail clippers.
Yeah. All right.
Good.
All right.
I bite my nails.
So go watch Nails or don't. The choice, as always, is yours. Feel free to join us in the spoiler room in a second, and we'll spoil everything. That's fucking disgusting.
I can't take any more of that.
I had to finish.
Put the mic back up.
Oh, God.
Headphones off.
He's just dropping his nails all over the floor of the spoiler room. We're gonna sweep them up, and we're gonna put them in envelope.
You got any envelopes, Patrick?
We're gonna write Patrick on it, and we're gonna mail it to a fan who buys a T-shirt from us.
Sorry, guys, keep going. I just got like 4 more nails to clip here.
How
Go
many
ahead and
fucking
talk.
fingers? Have you ever noticed Patrick has 15 fingers before?
What was that movie, The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T? Or is it 2,000 Fingers?
I have no idea
what
what
I'm
you're
talking about. Live action Dr. Seuss movie.
I have no idea.
2.5 fingers to go.
Well, fuck.
God.
While he's doing that,
Spoil the damn movie while I finish cutting my nails.
Spoil the damn movie. You know, let's just fucking
This
get into it.
fucking-
If you've been
holy
wondering
fucking
who that little girl is at the beginning of the movie,
it was Dana.
it was Dana the whole time.
Who gives a shit?
I don't.
It's like
But apparently the Moonlight Man gives a huge shit.
so. That's the reason that and
Guys, I'm done clipping my nails.
Oh,
right,
they look great. Let me see that
hallelujah.
shit. Let me see that shit.
I mean,
Fingers out. Fingers out.
oh, I thought you wanted to see the nails.
I can see the. I can see
Here's
the
my
nails. all over the floor.
nails.
Oh hell yeah!
Aren't they beautiful?
I'm gonna call you the well manicured man from now on.
Ooh, what I've been dreaming of my whole life.
Yeah. So I guess that's because one of the
She had spinal meningitis.
Wait,
As
Chris.
a young girl.
If I'm the well manicured man, Steven's definitely the cigarette smoking man. Who are you?
I'm trying to think of other X-Files characters.
Isn't there another man?
There are, but none that apply to me. There's a crew cut man. There's a Hispanic man. Obviously, I'm neither of those.
God, it's sad to me that has become my fate. I remember watching that show as a kid, being like, I'm never going to smoke. I'm never going to touch a cigarette.
Dude, it looks so cool, though.
You are CGB spender. All right, anyways.
As what's his name says,
Carl Geralt Bush.
I guess I'll be the only one who looks good in pictures.
I can't wait until you get old enough to smoke out of your like trach hole.
Oh man, I can't wait either. I'm just waiting for these vocal cords to go.
Anyway,
speaking of trach holes,
yeah. So Dana had meningitis and was in this hospital as a child. Apparently, doesn't remember it, and that's kind of one of the mysteries hanging over the head of this movie, where it's like, how come she can see this ghost, but apparently no one else can? And she actually at one point Googles, how come I can see ghosts that other people can't?
Yeah, great on the nose Google search. That's how I use Google too.
Yeah. Holy shit!
Why am I on a podcast that I don't want to be on anymore?
And isn't this the part
just
where
kidding? I love you guys.
Isn't this the part where she lands on the website of that like internet like psychic woman?
Yeah,
she's like one of those people that like you see their business card in the local like quirky gift shop, and it's like they do tarot readings and Reiki. And they carve runes in wood.
They sell CBD.
They give massages. They're not licensed, but they give massages. They'll clean your bathroom for $9 an hour. They'll take your kids to school in the morning.
They'll list your old clothes on eBay.
Well, and she's Irish, and she has a video where she's talking about, whatever. She's talking about the third eye, and she refers to the third eye.
The third eye.
And me and Steven said we want to have a band called Third Eye Blind.
Oh my god.
So look for that.
You know what my favorite album is of all time? Big Star's Turd.
You know what my favorite record label is? Turd Man Records.
You know what my favorite TV comedy starring John Lithgow is?
Turd Rock from the Sun.
Anyway.
Well, we've exhausted that one.
I think we could go so much further
you know what my
with
favorite
that.
classic film noir is?
What?
The Turd Man. Anyway. Jesus.
Everyone think if you can think of anything else that has third in the title.
Tweet us.
So
tweet
I guess
us if you think of any better
Nails.
ones.
Yeah, Nails has an actual name, but no one cares. He was a nurse.
And it's like Angus Winslow.
Of course, he has an actual name. Nobody's going to name their child Nails.
It's hilarious
No, it's
to
a
me.
nickname.
It's hilarious that like his name is Nails. His nickname is Nails, and so she's like frantic trying. It was Nails. It was Nails. I don't know. I just thought it was a funny name.
Yeah.
Like, the boogeyman's named Nails. I don't know. Whatever.
So he's coming back for her, basically.
He's coming back for her, I guess.
Yeah.
But with the Irish accent,
couldn't
it
get her
sounds a
when she
little
was a
like
child.
Niles.
It
Sounds
sounded
like
like
a normal name.
Sounded like Niels to me. Niels. Yeah.
Well, his name was like Nilsson or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he like failed to get her, so he's back to like get her.
I guess. Culminates basically an arbitrary point in the plot. They're like, oh, all right, let's get you out of this hospital. The daughter basically takes the lead on that. Daughter puts her in a wheelchair.
After Nails has already fucked over both the dad and the mistress.
Yeah.
Well, they deserved it, if anybody did.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, like, Nails somehow shows her, like, FaceTime of the dad and the mistress making out at home. So, they're, officially not good people.
Yeah. Good for Nails.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Nails is the protagonist.
Yeah, what if Nails just like came out of the closet with like a manila envelope and just like handed it to her and went back in the closet? All his hotel receipts.
So yeah, anyways, the daughter is wrestling her out of bed, and this is the moment where I didn't look away, but I closed my eyes because I couldn't handle like they rip the trach tube out of her fucking trach hole. And like a tracheotomy is just like sort of horrifying to me to begin with, but just to like see it forcefully ripped out, I was like, oh, I cannot deal.
I thought it looked like it just kind of popped out.
Oh, it was
just
horrifying.
like it was very loosely fit in there, but you weren't looking.
I saw a shot and then I closed my eyes.
To me, it looked like it wasn't even really like snugly fit in there. It just was like, whoop, all right.
That was nasty, and I just, I cringed so hard at that.
Yeah,
and I mean a good
grossed me
way.
out too, just seeing the hole and like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, for the rest of the movie, like, she's walking around, she's rolling around with, like, the hole in her throat, and occasionally she covers it up. I feel like not as much as one would actually need to if you're wandering around with a
I don't
fucking
know.
hole in your throat.
It's probably,
I don't know how that works.
she could get an infection, maybe. I don't know. But then it basically becomes, the movie picks up a little bit, and I started to get into it. Like,
Yes.
just as I was about to die of boredom, I kind of got a second wind in the last, like, 15 minutes, 20 minutes of this movie, where it kind of just becomes a little fun haunted house romper where we're running around the hospital corridors, pushing a wheelchair, things are popping out, crazy non sequitur shit, like the woman in the next room who's like dead and somehow laying on a gurney in the middle of the hallway open to the public, like comes to life and is screaming. Beautiful stuff.
Beautiful stuff.
Nails is scratching up the hallways like Freddy. Every character you've seen in the movie is there to talk shit or get killed, you know.
So I thought I wasn't crazy about the haunted house stuff necessarily. Like, I thought Nails scraping his fingers along the wall was kind of silly, and I wasn't big about the corpse, but I was invested in this scene because I was invested in those characters, and they seemed to mostly be making smart decisions, and I was invested in that chase working out well. What I'm talking about when I say smart decisions is they get to the elevator, they're going, and I mean, Dana is in a wheelchair. Her daughter Gemma is pushing her through the corridors because because Dana can't walk. So they're like hammering the elevator button. The elevator's not coming, and so Gemma starts to like try and push the wheelchair down the stairs, which made sense to me. I'm like, yeah, we have to get out of Nails' way. Dana ends up falling out of the wheelchair because obviously it's hard to push a wheelchair downstairs. And I was like totally invested. I'm like, holy shit, the stakes are upped in a big way. This is playing out logically.
Oh, I read that scene a different way, and I thought it looked to me like she just tried to go down the stairs in a wheelchair and just ate shit. And I was like, well, that's why we don't go downstairs in a wheelchair.
No, Gemma was trying to push the wheelchair down the stairs, and then she lost control.
I didn't realize it was an accident. I thought like Dana was like, this is a faster way to go down the stairs.
Nah. But they get downstairs. Nails is pursuing them. They slam the door on Nails, and then all of a sudden,
Everyone else is dead by this point.
Yeah, everybody's dead, basically. The fucking orderly, who may or may not be a sociopath, is dead. The dad's dead. The mistress is dead.
The
Gemma
hospital director
Dana,
is dead.
The hospital director is dead.
The like Dr. Dracula or whatever his name was, the shrink.
John Voight.
My God, we haven't talked about.
We haven't talked about John Voight.
He looks just like John Voight, America's most lucid political commentator.
He all of a sudden appears at the side of the bed, and I was like, "Oh my God, is he just going to start telling her about how Donald Trump is the best president we've ever had?"
I thought
that's
he was a
the greatest
ghost.
horror
I
in
thought
this
he
film.
was a ghost.
I did too. I was convinced that he was part of the supernatural thing that was going
Nails
on.
has made his every move correct.
Yes, exactly.
The liberal media doesn't want us to have
Is
nails.
John Voight a Trumper?
Oh my God, we have some videos to show you.
Speaking of elder abuse, yeah, if just look up John Voight's like crazy ass Twitter videos.
He's just apropos of nothing posted just 2 different videos where he's just like staring directly into the camera, just talking
speaking into the ether.
Yeah, just talking not particularly eloquently about how great Donald Trump is for no real reason.
Like he's on Downers or something. Like,
yeah,
and he's saying
strange
stuff like, "This is the greatest time in American history. Donald Trump is the best president we've ever had." But the media won't say that, and this goes on for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
This sounds like right wing extremist ASMR to me.
You know, it is hypnotic. It is hypnotic, and I thought the performance in this movie was hypnotic. This guy,
John Voight's
the poor man's John Voight, or the rich man's John Voight.
Okay, but anyway, Nails. They slam the door on Nails. They lock the door. They're almost to the end of this chase. They're about to get out of the hospital, and all of a sudden, Dana has like an inexplicable change of heart that is not explained in dialogue or anything.
No.
And she tells Gemma, "Go." She unlocks the door. She goes back to confront Nails. She gets fucked up in a really dumb scene where Nails like somehow like levitates her and like slams her around the roof of the ceiling of the room.
It's clear almost from the very beginning when she goes back into the room, because of how they play it, that she is just going into the room to sacrifice herself to Nails.
Yeah.
Why? Fuck if I know.
It was.
I mean, there's got to be another alternative to this.
And it was especially upsetting to me because, like I said, I had developed this really personal investment in this character, and I was very invested in this chase where they seemed to be making smart decisions and getting away from him, and all of a sudden it's just really for no reason. I mean, because Nails didn't care about Gemma. He was out to get what's her name? And it seemed that he didn't have powers that extended beyond the hospital. So I'm like, get the fuck out of the hospital.
It plays like a maternal sacrifice.
Yeah.
But
for no reason.
But why? Yeah, it's not earned.
There's
at all.
no evidence that that's what's happening, and that they couldn't have just ran away and been happily ever after.
It's like, okay, she's like, oh, Gemma, you came to save me. I'm going to sacrifice myself for you, and then we will have completed our mission.
And Gemma doesn't
saving
run
me and getting
away.
the fuck out of here. It makes no sense.
Like obviously Gemma stays there until she's good and dead and the body's cold. Like Nails could have still come after Gemma if he could have gotten through the door and he had cared to. I don't know. There had to be something that was just cut out or something. Or they got to the editing bay and they were like, fuck, we forgot to film 5 pages.
No, I don't think that whoever wrote this really cared. I think they just wanted a shocking ending. Like, oh, you like one of those just kind of surprise, not twist ending, but just kind of a surprise, hammer over the head ending.
This is
like, all right, protagonist is dead now.
Let's remember, though, that's not the actual ending. There's an even more inscrutable ending that comes after that.
Yeah.
Where we go back to Dana's former hospital bed. Her laptop is sitting there, and there's video, I don't know if it's live or recorded or what, of her sitting in the bed, and Nails, seemingly in human form, not in his demon form, like coming to clip her nails. And I had no idea what to make of that.
I don't know. Nails came back for her because he wanted to take care of her in the afterlife or something, and now they're doing that. Whatever.
Oh, do you think that was like the afterlife on the laptop?
Or something. It was definitely a different realm. I think it was...
I want to believe that that's the case.
I don't know. But it didn't work. I mean, even if that's what they were going for.
Yeah. I almost like that if it had been better articulated.
Anything they could have shown me at that point would have just been a shrug, and that was a shrug.
There are 2 lines where characters make vague overtures to the idea that, that Nails wasn't a bad guy. He was just trying to take care of these girls. So
he just misunderstood.
Like maybe he's just
an
misunderstood.
excitable boy.
And so now he's got Dana in the dead world, and he's gonna take care of her or something. But I don't know. It's unnecessary.
And he cut off her nails. Excitable boy, they all said.
Yeah, I don't know. So when she went back into the room, I had no idea that she was just trying to kill herself. And I was bracing for I was like, oh, this is the scene where she's going to fucking stand up out of the wheelchair and hit Nails with a chair. And I was ready to see that. I would like that. Have a little fight, She's been, because again, I didn't know she was permanently paralyzed. I thought she was trying to rebuild her strength the whole movie. You see her doing the little pull-ups in the bed and everything like that. Yeah. So I was ready for her to do what John Voight does in Pearl Harbor by Michael Bay.
Whoa.
Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
Fucking field.
John Voight plays Franklin D. Roosevelt in Pearl Harbor.
Wow.
And there's a scene after the bombing of Pearl Harbor where he's trying to get his cabinet on board to go to war with Japan or something, and they're like, oh no, that's impossible. And Franklin D. Roosevelt, who's in a wheelchair with polio for the whole movie, strains, and he fucking stands up out of the wheelchair and he's like, don't tell me what's impossible, or something like that, and everyone goes to war with Japan.
That's great writing.
Wow.
You know what? This is the thing. People can make fun of Michael Bay, but he understands how to have just a fucking dog food moment where it's
a dog? What does that mean?
You just throw the dog food down and we eat it up.
I love that.
Oh my
I've
God,
never heard anyone use
I
that
do too.
expression before.
Just a cheap, unearned but emotionally resonant moment.
Dog food.
Michael Bay is a genius, and he knows how fucking dumb.
That's how he's built his career. I mean, that's how he's built his career. All his movies are shitty movies that are just haphazard as fuck, but have 2 scenes that hit people in the heart for no good reason, except he is in touch with basic human feelings.
Whew. You know what? I wish
we're putting that one in the lexicon.
I wish we took video of the show, because Chris is normally when Chris gets fired up, when you get fired up, I don't like referring to you in the third person when you're right here. Yeah. When you get fired up, your hand movements are just so for the last hour they've been all over the place. It's delightful. It adds a whole other dimension.
Well, I did
to what
just
you're
drink
saying.
this Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Yeah, you finished that? Oh yeah,
he's kickstarted.
But so I feel like that would have actually felt like it meant more. If she stands up and even if she just gets murked immediately by Nails, she stands up and is like, stay away from my daughter.
You
and then
bitch.
and then he just claws her anyway. Like, that would have been like, okay, this is cool. Here's someone who's been passive, and now she's actually taking a stand, whatever. It would have hit us in the feels a little more.
Yeah, I mean, for all I've defended this film, I cannot defend anything about the last, 5 minutes of this. It was all very, what?
Even I was not connected to this film or our quote-unquote protagonist at all. I was still audibly upset by that ending.
Yeah, bizarre.
I just can't imagine a worse ending. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine anything happening being less satisfying and more stupid.
It's almost like, not to continue the Pearl Harbor theme too much, but it's almost a kamikaze mission.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
That was a real dog food moment.
I know.
Like, anything. I'm just trying to, if you involved aliens in the last 5 minutes, or you had, the U.S. Marine Corps smash through the hospital and be like, there's nails, and just lit them up. That would have been more interesting.
It felt like Repo Man, where it feels like there's a reel missing from the movie, and then it's intentional. It felt like there had to be something more there to make sense of all this.
Dude. All right.
No.
I fixed it. Jay shows up.
Oh, yes! I would have been giving this movie a standing ovation. This would have won the Palme d'Or of my heart.
That's a very coveted award, the Palme d'Or of Chris's heart. I'd like to win one myself.
Here's a movie. This would be hilarious.
The palm of gold of Chris's heart.
Yeah.
I feel like ore it means gold.
You have the same
Gold palm.
Yeah, the golden palm.
Yeah.
Why not?
You have the same woman, same conflict, except nobody believes her at all. Because in this movie, people are like, yeah, we actually
Play the theme for Chris rewrites the movie again.
We know about nails. We know about this. In the movie we have, people are aware of nails, but they're kind of sweeping it under the rug, right? Same movie, but no one knows anything about nails. Just nobody believes her. Everyone thinks she's crazy. We don't know if she's crazy. There's no evidence of nails. And then they're running out, and then they get to that cafeteria room where she eventually dies. The fucking SEAL Team 6 smashes through the windows, and they're like, there's nails. We got them. And they just light them up.
Sure.
Or they run outside, and there's a huge police force, and there's a detective with a microphone. He's like, nails, come out of the building. The joke is everyone Nails is an internationally known figure. I'm sorry.
All right, that was great. Those are all great dog food moments.
Yeah. All right. You know what I'm tired of talking about? Nails.
Yeah, I feel like we need to wrap it up. I want to throw out
I need
here.
to go to bed.
Yeah, seriously. I want to throw out before we go, though. We got a little piece of listener mail the other day. So, as you the listeners may know, we have T-shirts that you can wear. They have our logo on them. You can put us on your body, walk around, and tell all your friends, hey, you should listen to this thing that's on my body.
Do you know? You can wear them, and there's a lot of stuff you can do with the T-shirt. You can put it in the washing machine when it starts to smell, or if it becomes soiled or stained.
Yeah.
You can clean it. I would recommend not putting it in the dryer because it will shrink, and these are a good slim fit. You could fold it up and keep it in a drawer in your bedroom if you'd like to.
Last episode, you told everybody to get a size too small because you wanted to see them in their tight Amon shirts. So I don't know what you're talking about.
It's just like I said, it's slim enough that already.
Take your sizing information from the website, not from us.
You can hang them in your closet.
Know what else you can do? If you know someone who's paraplegic in the hospital and not in complete control of their body or their wardrobe, you can dress them in an Amon shirt.
Against their will.
That's a questionable decision.
And if they have a creepy closet in said hospital room,
fill it with Amon shirts.
Amon shirts so there's no room for nails.
That's a good friend. That's a great move.
Need. Yeah, someone's coming out of my closet and be like, you know what? Hey, we're going to take all this shit we got in the hallway, all these chairs, all these boxes, all these gurneys with the dead woman from next door. We're going to put them in this closet so there's no room for nails.
And the best part of it is we sell 200 T-shirts.
Yeah.
Anyways, I bring this all up because so we told you about this shirt, and if you've seen the shirt design, it's based on the classic Maxell Blown Away design, where like there's the dude in the chair and the speaker is blowing his hair back. We kind of did a take on that where there's like blood coming out of his TV, it's blowing his hair back, whatever. And we incorrectly stated that the dude in the original commercial was Peter Murphy from Bauhaus. Steven said this, and I completely backed you up on this because I had heard it too.
Yeah.
Listener Ant, I believe his name was.
Apocrypha, it turns out.
Yeah, listener Ant set us straight on this. He said it's not Peter Murphy. It's some random dude.
It's a model.
It's a model, yeah. I think he was actually
a photographer.
Yeah, he was like a makeup artist or something. It was his like main trade. And in addition, Ant, if you're listening, we found out something even more interesting. So Peter Murphy, we're not entirely incorrect. That's the interesting part here. The point of this story is we're not wrong. That's the biggest takeaway is we weren't wrong.
No, fuck no. We're never wrong.
Peter Murphy was in the UK version of this ad, which I did look up. Maybe we'll put it online somewhere. And it leaves a lot to be desired. They definitely refined the concept. Yeah, they definitely refined the concept for the American version. But Peter Murphy was involved in the original version. So
see, I grew up reading the British music press. No, I'm just kidding.
In these polarizing times, it's good to just be able to say, you know what? You're not wrong. We're not wrong either.
You know what else is good to do in these polarizing times? Go to everyhorrormovieonnetflix.com. Click on... well, sure, do that.
And we'll troll you back.
But more importantly, first, before you troll. Before you troll.
See, I feel like most people just jump to the troll.
I know. See, and I'm trying to reprogram your brain a little bit. It's going to feel even better. Before you troll, if you go and click the merch store link and buy one of our shirts, then you'll have supported us, and it's like you've given us some money, and so you'll hate us a little bit because you have given us some of your hard-earned money, so the trolling will feel even sweeter.
Yeah,
you know what, kids?
We're beating the horse to death.
Listen up, kids. Go into mommy's purse.
Have you seen Nails? Nothing ever dies.
Look for some green and off-white paper in a rectangle shape. You're going to want to put that in an envelope.
Yes.
And send it to...
Write your name on the front of it with a crayon.
No return address. No return address necessary.
No, children, get the little plastic card out of mommy's purse and go to everyhorrormovieonnetflix.com. Click the merch store link. Also, get mommy's phone.
Make sure
and look up Every Horror Movie on Netflix, the podcast, and subscribe mommy to it. And also rate it 5 stars while you're there.
And after mommy makes a purchase at the grocery store and she's typing in numbers on that little keypad, pay very close attention and make sure to write those down on a slip of paper in the envelope or on the back of the card.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what are we doing next time on Every Horror Movie on Netflix, guys?
Oh, also follow us, AmonCast, EHMONcast on all the socials. But next
Chris,
time,
what are we doing?
Next time is a special event, guys. You know what? It's December.
Season.
It's the holiday season, and it's time to do our year-end episode. We did it last year. We ranked all our favorite shit of the year. We ranked our favorite horror movie. We ranked our favorite movie that we watched for the cast, our least favorite movie that we watched for the cast, and we also gave out the Spirit of J Award. And we're going to do all that shit again except for 2019. Yep. It's going to be a party.
We're going to get around the fire. We're going to get
going to drink a cup of Old Lang Syne.
Spicy eggnog and some CBD. And we're going to talk about all the things we did this year.
So fucking join us. It's going to be a blast. We're looking forward to seeing you there.
But until then, catch us online or don't. Buy our shirts or not.
Give them the option not to.
Yeah, don't beat around the bush.
This is non-negotiable.
Yes.
If you're listening, you're part of the family.
Mandatory.
Amon family.
The family.
We support each other.
All right. Well, that'll be coming out next week. You won't have to wait 2 weeks like usual. So that's a little holiday treat just for you, our loyal listener. But that's all we got for this week and for Nails. So catch you next time. For Every Horror Movie on Netflix, I'm Chris.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Steven.
Goodbye.